Here we go. All right, it is now officially 7 o'clock on February the 28th. I tell you, folks, February has just flown by. I know it's a short month, but oh my goodness, it just has gone by so quickly. And it's been an unusual February in that here in Maryland we have not had snow, um, really anything to speak of. We've had some flurries on a couple of days this winter, but nothing that really stuck. I think we just really had a dusting one day. I woke up and looked out the window, and there was some white stuff on the ground, but nothing. It didn't totally cover the ground. It was just a dusting. And this past Saturday, it decided to snow, and 2 days before that, it was almost 80 degrees out. So it's just, I don't understand weather anymore. So, all right, so here we go. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do one more minor thing here and I should be good to go. All right, I need to make sure that, okay, that's a good full screen. Gracious. Okay. Um, all right, so tonight I have a couple of really quick announcements. I hope that we can get through this. The set that I'm going to show you, the set of products, is it's a wow as far as I'm concerned. It's amazing, and I hope you enjoy this, and that those of you who are watching live, I hope you enjoy it, and those who are going to come back and watch the replay, I hope you enjoy this as well. And those of you who are joining me on Facebook and or those who are joining me on YouTube a little bit later once we upload this video to YouTube after it's been edited. That usually takes us a few hours the next day to be able to do that. Okay, and then you'll be able to enjoy this set and what I have to say about it. All right, the set we're going to use tonight comes from our mini catalog, which is through the end of April. Actually, May 1st is the last day to order from our mini catalog. But remember, one of those things that we always try to make sure our customers know is that this catalog, the items in this catalog could sell out. And so if you see something that you really like, actually one of the items, or a couple of different items have already sold out of this catalog, and to my disappointment, I did not get it in time before it sold out. So, keeping that in mind, that goes with all of our catalogs. Okay, this is the last day of celebration. Okay, there are items in here that have actually sold out. I believe these items you get for free with a $50 order or a $100 order. This item right here, which is the Dainty Flowers 12 by 12 designer series paper, has sold out. It is no longer. So I'm sorry if you missed it. It is gorgeous, gorgeous paper. It is my absolute, almost all-time favorite paper. That I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for almost 20 years now. 20 years in August, actually. And so, anyway, that's to keep in mind. The things that are in this brochure, stamp sets and designer series paper, and there's a host offer of a host stamp set that is amazing. This beautiful stamp set is yours for a $300 order. And that could be all your money or several of your friends ordering from the same catalog. Okay, so all of that is just still pending until 12 midnight Mountain Time. They are 2 hours behind us on this the Eastern Standard Time. And then, in addition to these items, at the beginning of February, these items were added to the list of free items for celebration. So, and you need to use the numbers that are on this brochure, and that information is also on our online store. Okay, so keeping all of that in mind. Celebration goes away tomorrow. Okay. One more item. Online exclusive starts tomorrow. Starts the 1st of March. All right, and it goes, let's see, I've forgotten the date. I believe it goes through the month of March. But anyway, there's a stamp set. No, these are items that as a demonstrator I get to order or pre-order early. We were able to pre-order these items early. These items will be, they're not going to go into any of our catalogs. They will be available online only. That's why it's called an online exclusive. And there are other items that we were not able to see yet that'll be available tomorrow. So this stamp set, I was able to order this gorgeous paper, these frosted dots, loose frosted dots that you use a glue or glue to stick them down. There was the naturally gilded 12 by 12 designer series specialty paper. There were embossing folders that were offered, and then this set of classic letters. And this is all caps, and these are at least an inch in height. So those are items that are on part of our online exclusive, and this little QR code will tomorrow be activated, and you can go to that QR code and see all the things that are available. Okay? All right, so that's the end of my information. Okay, let's look at the card that we're going to go ahead and get into tonight. This was fun because it was like putting a puzzle together. And Karen, you would like this. I like doing that. Hi, Deanna. Good for you to join. I'm glad you could join me tonight. So here we go. Here is the card we're making. And let me tell you a little bit about the suite of products. I'm sorry, I keep putting things away. Clear off my desk. All right, so here is in the mini catalog, pages 42 and 43. Of course, on page 42, we have all these examples of the lovely cards that you can make in some of the products that are part of this suite of products. All right, and you can see that this idea is very close to this. I did spend some time on Pinterest looking at other people's ideas and came up with somewhat of my own. All right, so here we go, 43, page 43, the die set, and of course I'll show you that up close and personal in just a few minutes. So that's the suite. And then on the following page is a picture of the die set. And the stamp set and the die set a little bit more in depth. All right. Okay. That is on page 42, 43, and 44 of the mini catalog. All right. I'm real excited to show you this stuff here. I'll show you the paper here in just a few minutes. This is the actual stamp set. Cling mount stamp set, which means it's red rubber. And it's cushioned so that it gives you a really good clear impression when you're stamping on hard surfaces. Okay. Here is the Desert Details die set, and I'll show you some dies that I've cut from that in just a couple of minutes, and you'll see them on my cards. All right. And the colors in this suite are soft succulent, pink, pale, what's it called? Petal pink, calypso coral, Cajun craze, pale papaya. Is there one stuck there? Okay. And this is gray granite. All right, so those are the colors that we're looking at, that we'll be thinking about when we're looking at the designer series paper, which I will show you in just a few minutes. I like to show you this because this kind of gives you an idea, and it gives me an idea of a place to start as far as what we need to do with what colors do you need to go, what color ink do you need, what paper would work, and that kind of thing. So these are the colors, and of course you can always use the basic white. The dry brushed metallic. Now this might be a little bit, that's what this paper is. This might be a little bright because it's very, there, that's not too bad right there. It's very shiny. Shiny. Yeah, okay, very shiny. Sorry. Back to Veggie Tales. There we go. There we go. So there's that. And then this is the other piece. You get, this is the what's it called? The dry brushed metallic paper. You get 2 of each of these colors in the pack that you want to order. Okay, so that's that. Then this is the designer series paper, which is called Delicate Desert. So I'm going to try to, here, let's do this. I'm going to try to give you a kind of an idea there. Now that's not, it's just regular designer series paper. Okay, I think that's all of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6. All right, so that's the paper, and some of these are scenes like that look like that, okay? Like this as well. And then this is the other side. Okay, there. Pardon my camera while it adjusts for you. All right, and this is a nice scene right there. You'll see that used on 1 or 2 of my cards. All right, so there you go. That's the the Delicate Desert 12 by 12 designer series paper. Okay, so that's that. And I want to show you some of the dies that I cut out, or some of the die cuts that I cut out with these dies. All right, here are the dies right here. I sometimes just take the dies and just start cutting paper so that I know I can work with them a little bit. And this kind of gives you a really good idea. All right, so here is what happens when you use, get my fingernail under there. There. That's what happens with that. Now what you have to do, you actually get a solid piece. It doesn't cut out the center. To cut out the center, you have to use this. And you know, you arrange it in there, and then you'll cut it, it'll cut out that centerpiece. That's an additional piece, which is like, for example, using those 2, this is what you have. You have these 2 pieces. All right, and I don't know if you can see the detail without being blinded by the shininess, but there's a lot of detail around the southwestern flavor kind of designs that are on the outside of this frame, and a little stitching that looks like it's going around the edge of this piece. All right, so there's that. Again, and this is the piece of paper I cut it out of, so you see I don't have a lot of extra, but you know me, I'm going to hold on to that for a little while. Here's what it looks like cut out of the regular designer series paper. You still get that wonderful design on it. All right, either side. Okay. Then, let's see, which other one did I do? I did them in several different colors so that you could see an example. Here are some of the flowers that I went ahead and did in several colors, several different ink colors. So that way you can see them and you can see what they look like. I stamped, okay, a little bit there. Okay, and there's one thing I wanted to show you that's really, really cool. You see all these little tiny pieces right here? These little tiny pieces came out of the, and you'll see them later on another card, they came out of this. This die is, oops, I've covered it all up. Okay, here, this is the die right here. Okay, that die made this. But then there are all these wonderful little pieces. Now, if you didn't want it to be an outline shape, you could take that piece, and this is something I had learned not too long ago. Take that piece, put it back in the frame that you cut out. You make sure you get it in the right way. I think I've got that upside down. Here, like this. And take all these little pieces, put it back in there, and I flipped it over on the back and added a piece of Scotch tape. Took a piece of Scotch tape and put it on there to hold those pieces in place, just right here where I knew I was going to be covering that up. But and then of course when you put it down on your paper, you're going to have, you know, that extra added piece. So yes, I will eventually throw these away because some of these I've already used, and you'll see them on, as I said, on my cards. But they're such fun. I was trying to figure out, was there a way I can use those? You know, whatever. I'm a bit of a paper hoarder. All right, so there's that. Now, and then the last design I wanted to show you was this piece here, which I just love because I love the southwestern decor look. Of course, I've never been there, and that's one of my it's on my bucket list to go. This design here. I'd like to learn more about what that design is all about. So, but here's what it looks like when you cut it out of the foil paper, the dry brushed metallic paper. And you can see that I had a lot of fun playing with those, and this would be actually pretty cool if I could put them together like that and put them on a card. Ta-da! Very much like the puzzle piece that I had. And you have to do them just right so that you can get them to match exactly. You see what I just did? Karen, you would love this. My sister Karen is quite a aficionado at putting together puzzles. So there we go. That piece goes right in there. And then I lift my fingers up and there you can see. All right, so enough playing. Let's get to our card making. Okay, so here is our card. I did, of course, add a little bit of bling, even though it's nice and shiny. And I put a decoration on the inside of our card. On the outside of the envelope, I used the flower, okay? The smallest flower. So that's what we're working on. So what we need for our card, we need to make sure that we have our envelope and we have our, we're going to put a different color on the outside of this one this time. We're going to go ahead and do that as we go through this. Here is my pale papaya. Here is the flower stamp. It is really distinctive. It's a distinctive stamp set where it looks like it's almost a photograph. All right, and I'm going to make sure because I always check and see there. And I'm going to use right down here. Hopefully you can see that. All right, and there is the envelope. Okay, already done. Yay! Okay, so that is our pale papaya color, which is one of our newer in colors. Okay, you need a piece of, this is 4 by 5 1/4. This is the basic white, and this is the insert to go inside the card. I went ahead and used the pale papaya and stamped using this stamp. I don't know if you can see the detail there. There you go. Okay, on that one. All right, so that's done. I cut out the pieces that I needed for my puzzle, right? The 4 pieces from the dried brush metallic paper. This is the pale papaya, and I've got more than enough here for the edges of my designer series paper. My designer series paper is, let's see, what did we decide that was? This has got to be, well, let me measure it because I didn't write it down. Oh yes, I did, 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, 4 by 5 1/4, the same size as the basic white. All right, so that's going to go on the front of the card, and the card base is our soft succulent. It is 4 1/4 by 5, by 11, scored at 5 1/2. All right, So let's go ahead and start building our stamp set since we've got something. Oh, and I meant to mention on this piece of this scrap, I went ahead and I think you can see that's nice and shiny too. So that goes with my shiny card. I went ahead and used Versamark and heat embossed the words "Let the Fun Begin," which is part of this. Can you see that? This stamp right here, "Let the Fun Begin," which is part of the stamp set. It could be like for a birthday card, for example. But I just thought that made it stand out and look really, really nice. So I went ahead and did that. The heat embossing technique, I can show you how to do that. That's not a problem for me. It's just that it's loud and it involves, a few more steps, and I try to make things as brief as I can. So if you need me to show you what heat embossing is, I would be delighted to do that. Please leave me a comment and let me know if you want me to do that. I'll be delighted to do that. All right, so let's look at our pieces, and I need to pull my silicone mat over here. I am going to add this to the inside of our card. Okay, here we go. Using my Stampin' Seal. And I'm trying to be a little bit more delicate with the Stampin' Seal. I don't need to put quite as much on there as I have been putting on there. So I'm trying to just put a little bit on around the edges. Okay, there we go. So there's that. Now, this is a horizontal or a landscape card. So I need to remember when I put my insert in, particularly the fact that I have a design on it already, then I need to remember to put that in and on horizontal and horizontally. Okay, so we have a nice border all the way around there. That looks pretty good. Okay, and so the inside of our card is done. Yay! Okay, now let's put that aside for a moment, and I did use my bone folder to go ahead and make sure that that crease is nice and pressed down. All right, so the card lays flatter. All right, so here is the Designer Series paper, 4 by 5 1/4. It is going to go on the top of our our card base as soon as I finish, as soon as I get it layered. All right, now one of the first things we need to do is go ahead and put our design on the top of it, okay, and the bottom. So I'm going to look and see, and I want to put the zigzaggy part on there, and I'm going to go from end to end there, and I'm not going to leave a border. I'm going to go ahead and cover that whole edge up. So to do that, what I want to do is I'm using my glue, and that's why I have this sitting on my silicone mat. I'm going to use my glue and just put a little tiny bit. Don't need a lot, and I don't need it all the way across. I do want to make sure it's there. There's enough on the edges. All right, and I believe the way I did that, I'm going to do this way. Okay, so I'm going to start on the bottom, and I'm going to line that up with the edge of the paper. Okay, and there we go. All right, so in a couple of minutes after it's had a chance to dry, let's see, this is not long enough, so that piece we'll put over there. After it's had a chance to dry, I'm going to make sure that I take my scissors, my snips, do the same thing here. I'm going to take my snips and just a tiny little bit of this. You don't need a whole lot because you don't want it oozing out. I'm going to take my snips and cut off the edges. Sorry, I'll finish my sentence there. All right, don't want to get my head in the thing, but I want to make sure that I get that on there. Okay, there we go. So now we have our borders. Using my snips, I'll flip this over, carefully cut off. Oh, I can just sort of adjust that just a little bit. There we go. nip that off right at the edge. Okay, and that's all the waste that we have from that paper. So that's really great. Okay, and get rid of this just a minute here. Okay, now let the fun begin. I'm going to go ahead, since I've already done that on here, I want to make sure that got on there. I'm going to go ahead and mount this on my card base. Okay, can you still see that? Let's look in there. There we go. For some reason my screen is a lot bigger tonight, and that's really nice. I like that. So, okay. That way I can see exactly, because sometimes I can't see and it looks like you're really squished in there. Maybe it's because I've got this a little higher than the camera, a little higher than I normally put it. Okay, so here we go with this. Putting around the edge. See, I just put a little tiny thin line on the edge. I don't want a whole lot. I also don't need to put it in the center. There's no reason to do that. So, and there's no real, I don't know, do we want the lighter part on the bottom, the darker part on the top? Decisions. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and lay it like this. And I do have a little wiggle room because of the way the glue is for us. I think that's pretty straight. And now wait for the glue to dry. No, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our little pieces here. All the rest of these pieces are attached to the card with dimensionals. And I'm going to use the small miniature or mini dimensionals here because they fit nicely in all of these spots. And I'm not going to take the stuff away right away, the backing off right away, because I want to make sure that I have everything exactly positioned where I want it. So when I'm pushing down on the back of the paper covering on the dimensionals, so that when I go to take them off, especially these little ones, it'll come off a lot easier. Okay, there we go. And I think there's those two. And I'm going to dry fit, which you've heard me use that expression before. I'm going to dry fit my pieces on my card to make sure I have it exactly in the layout I want. And so that's another reason that I'm not going to take the backing of these dimensionals off right away. Okay, so that's 3 done. And I'm sorry, this is a little tedious to watch, but it's, at least I'm not asking you to watch a plant grow or something. All right, here we go. Okay. And I press that down to make sure that they're exactly where I want them. And of course I'm going to use dimensionals on the back of this, but I can use regular size dimensionals here. So I will do that, and I'm going to use 3. And I want to make sure that's nice and popped up. And by the way, in case you don't know, and you don't know to do this, use all the edges of your dimensionals. You can cut them into any shape you want. Nobody's going to see those dimensionals. They're always underneath of something. So make a point of using those, using every single scrap of your dimensionals. I certainly do that. Okay, here we go. What is a die set? Karen asks. A die set. I refer to that as this is a die set. This is the set of dies. These are metal designs that cut out the paper. So that's why it's called a die set. Okay. And we have these come in a, I always make sure I label everything, and this is something I buy from another company. Stampin' Storage has these. These are magnetic, and they hold the dies in place. DIES, dies, so that I don't have to worry about them rolling around everywhere and all these little loose pieces everywhere. So I store those in kind of different places, but that's what that is. That's what a die set is. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this now. All right, now I want a particular design. So I'm going to dry, as I said, I'm dry fitting this. So I'm just going to dry place that right there. And I know I need this over here. So I need to make sure I leave room for this. And there should be enough space. And I want to make sure that I have different pieces, different shininess in different places, I suppose. This is another one that's pretty much exactly like that one, so I may put that. Okay, so there's one. Okay, this is what I may do here. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to start at the bottom. All right, so I'm just going to play with these puzzle pieces for just a moment, so I get them where I want them. Starting, the first piece I'm going to do is the one on the bottom. Let's put this in here. It goes just like that. And with these dimensionals, it makes it very nice. They all fit together. Now, I'm looking at either edge, and that's a little far over to the left. So I'm going to kind of scooch it over, kind of carefully. All right, there we go. And let's get that, and maybe down just a little bit. Okay. Then once I get these dimensionals on, I don't have to press it down right away. I don't have to, press it down really hard just yet. I'll do that after I get everything. I'll lay it out, and if I like the way it's laid out, because I can still pick this up if I don't put it down all the way there. So let's see. Let's hope that's good. All right, let's try that. I'm going to take this piece, again, peeling off the backing of the dimensionals. You can do that with a take your pick tool. Do it with your fingernail. Okay, and I'm going to put this right here because I want that piece to fit right like this. All right, still trying not to put too much pressure in case I need to take it up to remove it. And if I do need to remove it, all is not lost. It comes off fairly easy. I'll take a pair of scissors and snip underneath of it if I don't like where it is, and I can roll the dimensional off of it. So I've done that a number of times. All right, so here we go with this. Okay, that looks pretty good. I could probably move that down just a little. All right, and let's do this last one. Then we have, and I meant to show you some of our embellishments that we have with this. There are two different kinds of embellishments. All right, so now I'm going to put this down in here and hope that fits pretty well. Okay, and it does. Okay, it's not perfect, but that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm just going to press that one down. I'm going to take off the dimensionals on the back of this. Our little sentiment. We have space for that. Let me see. That's exactly where I want it. I can move that just a little bit. Okay, there we go. All right, I like that. So let the fun begin. We're not quite done yet. We're not finished yet. We still have a little bit of bling. I had the choice of using the gold faceted backed sequins, and that's part of the set, part of the products in this suite. I looked at that and I thought, well, yeah, but there's still that pinkish or that orangish hue there. I really want something that'll kind of pull that out a little bit. So we had another embellishment. This is almost like the soft succulent here. But this pinker one I thought was nicer. So I decided to use that one. And they're called the Iridescent Pastel Gems. And I take my Take Your Pick tool, which is the easiest thing for me to use, to lift these adhesive-backed gems off of this. And I believe I used a big one. I'm looking at my card there. A big one over there in the corner. And then a little one. Because they only have the two sizes here. I like it when they have three sizes. But, okay, so there's those two. And then, but we will make do with what we've got. All right, and then I wanted to put, I think I'm going to put this right here. There we go. On instead of on the other one, and I can actually take this piece and just very gently move it off of there. I didn't leave any glue. I got the glue dot, and I'll put that right there. So it looks exactly the same. All right, and that, my friends, is our card. That is our card. It's Let the Fun Begin. I hope you enjoyed that. That is such fun to do. It was a lot of fun to play with, and or create with and play with. And I really am glad that I purchased this set of product or suite of products, because it really made it fun. And it kind of is a little bit out of my, not comfort zone necessarily, but my usual style of the floral or the fun kind of things. So there we go. And I'm trying to move some things out of the way here so we can look at my other cards. But before we do that, I promised you there were a couple of other items I wanted to show you. I showed you the gold faceted adhesive back sequins. Here is, and you'll see this on one of my cards, this is the Pale Papaya Faux Velvet Trim. Oh my goodness, it's so much fun. It's really, really beautiful. Pretty heavy duty ribbon, okay? And you'll see that on a card that I'm going to show you in just a couple of seconds here. But that is the Pale Papaya color. And you notice that, I've talked about it, I know you're probably going, oh, here she goes again. But our inks and our ribbons and our papers and everything that we have is color coordinated. It just makes it so much nicer to be able to have everything match. I'm one of those people that likes matching things. So here we go. Here's the one that we made today. Here's another one that I made. And here's that velvet ribbon, that faux velvet ribbon, and you'll see in the center, hopefully you can see that, the center is the one that I filled in. These are not filled in. This is different. This is shimmer paper, same color as the soft succulent. This is the copper brushed metallic paper. And then this is, of course, the metallic brushed metallic paper that is with the desert, the delicate desert, the dry brushed metallic. Okay. And then on the inside, of course, another piece of designer series paper, and on the inside I did the same. This is using Calypso Coral. All right, and there's that piece. And the final one, and this is the one the whole household likes the best, I think, and I'm interested as to why, but I like it too. It's very pretty. You Are What Sunshine Feels Like. It's another one of those. It can be a birthday card. This is using Cajun Craze, Gray Granite. This, I believe, is not Cajun Craze, however. This is the Calypso Coral color and the flowers. And I popped that up, of course, to make it look like a picture frame. And I didn't do anything on the inside of this card yet. I might. Okay, so there we go, again with that envelope. Okay, so that's what I did with the Delicate Desert, the Delicate Deserts Sweet Set. And I think that's pretty much everything. The only thing I didn't show you how to do was the the heat embossing, which I am delighted to be able to show you anytime. And I just might make the effort of trying to show you how to do what we call embossing. We have a dry embossing and we have a heat embossing. And perhaps maybe one of my videos should be all about those things. So if you'd like that idea, just put a comment in there for me and let me know. I'd be delighted to show you what that looks like. So, okay? All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching me live. Thank you for watching me on the replay. And I hope you did enjoy this. These are gorgeous, gorgeous cards. Sending warm rays your way. That's kind of like a nice, I'm thinking of you. You're what sunshine feels like. That's a nice friend or a loved one card. Let the fun begin. That's a nice birthday kind of card. So there are several types of occasions that this set could, this suite of products could address, you know, for your whatever your greeting card needs are. Okay. All right. So this is it, and I will see you. I believe it is, and let me look at my little calendar here. March 7th. Yes, that's what I thought the date was. I just didn't. Tuesday. Isn't that interesting? February and March both start on the same day, and so that makes the 7th, that makes that work. Although March has 31 days in it. So there you go. Remember that old rhyme they taught us in school. Okay. Thank you very much again, and take care. If you need anything for celebration, please go ahead and go to the online store and order that, because today is the last day for that. After that, these things will not be available. The celebrations items will not be available any longer. And then make sure that you check the online store for the refreshed clearance rack. Lots of things are on that. I don't know how quickly they've been going, but that was just recently refreshed. And then check back on March 1st to see the online exclusives. I'll be there looking first thing in the morning. So take care and do something for yourself. Try to do something creative every day.